Hi, I'm Dr. Elliot Adam from ElliotOracle.com, and I am here to give a weekly community reading for everybody. And this is for the week of Thursday, June 20th. And if you stumble on this channel and it's not June 20th or it's not that week of June 20th, there is still probably a message in here for you, so you want to listen to it. And also people think, how does a community reading work? And the answer is that the tarot is a collection of universal symbols that speak to different people in different ways. And so I may give a message to you with one card that you'll apply to one area of your life in a much different way than another person would. So let's get started. The first card we're going to go over in the reading is what it's time to grow from, or what you're leaving behind, what wisdom you're learning from. And so this is just telling you where you're coming from and how we're going to move forward. And that card is the Nine of Swords. So the Nine of Swords is a card that has been called the worst card in the deck. And the reason for it is because it affects your focus. It's like wearing filmy glasses that even if it's a beautiful, nice day out, you're looking around and you're just seeing the negative. You're just seeing it as bad or as not good. And when the Nine of Swords comes up as the card that you want to release or you want to move away from, it says that it's time to move away from hopeless shadow thinking. You can see this man who's waking up from his nightmare and he's just terrified. He's kind of rifling through all the worst case scenarios. And whenever this card comes up, it's telling you to stop and to realize that maybe the harm that you're really thinking is out there is actually in your head. Because when you look at this card, this man is really not in danger. He's actually in his bed. He's actually comfortable. He's at home. And it's in his head where the war zone is playing out. So this card is saying that it's time to grow from negative thinking. This could be releasing negative thoughts or also just applying a worst case scenario perspective to your life at this time. The second card we have in the reading is what we need to presently learn or grow from at this time in order to progress, in order to get to the next level. And that card is the Two of Pentacles. Now the Two of Pentacles shows the juggler there. He's got that stupid hat on and he's not taking things very seriously. In the background, there's these wavy waters going on and there's these ships that are, surviving the waves and rising above them, but they're not getting sunk by the waves. And when the Two of Pentacles comes up, it usually indicates that life is going to be sending you waves at this time, that there's unpredictable events that are happening, and that in order to progress at this time, you can't take things so seriously. You can't personalize it, in other words. The juggler also reminds you to apply a sense of humor to the situation right now and to remain flexible. If you're really rigid and you're locked against your life challenges right now and you're fighting the waves, you're going to lose. You're up against a whole ocean. Instead, you're being told to just not take it so seriously, to float above the waves. And also the Two of Pentacles sometimes has a connotation of juggling finances at this time. And so it could indicate that you're moving around some money or you're coming up with a new financial strategy in order to be successful. Whatever you're doing with money, it's so important this next week that you approach it with flexibility and that you also just have some good humor right now and not take this time personally or don't take it too seriously. It'll all work out. And then your future card is just basically going to show what's ahead for the next week. What do we have to look forward to? And also what you're going to be growing from in this next week as well. And that card is the Ten of Wands. So what you have is a lot of work ahead of you. There's a lot on your shoulders. There's a lot to accomplish. You can see this man who is working in a field and he's pushing himself forward and he is basically almost at like that finish line. You can see that in the background of the card. It's like he's just about to cross the end of the line. And although this card does show struggle, work, a lot on your shoulders, this is also a card of service. And it's saying that the work you're doing is valuable. In the background of the card, you can see that house. And so it's indicating that this man is doing the hard work, but it's in the benefit for the whole. It's in the benefit for his household or for the people that are depending on him. And so this card is saying to approach your labors with willingness and not to really look at them in an exasperated way, but instead to look at how your work is going to end up paying off for you in the long term. And the Ten of Wands can also just indicate long-term planning. You can see this guy's in the harvest, so he had to plant the seeds and wait for everything to grow, and now he's harvesting his rewards. And so this sometimes just indicates that there is some groundwork that you're doing right now, and you may not see that immediate payoff right now, but it does say to be tenacious, to stick to your goals, and this will all work out for you. So release the negative thinking, be really flexible, open, and adaptable right now, and then also going into this next week, try to be a happy warrior when you're approaching your work and realize that it's going to pay off for you in the long term, and you're almost at that finish line. If this reading did resonate with you, I invite you to go to elliotoracle.com and schedule a personal tarot session with me. It's amazing what an exceptional tarot reading can do when it's crafted towards your particular situation in your life. And then you get to bounce questions off of me as well. And then also, I want to plug a recent podcast interview I did. It was just released yesterday, and it's awesome. It's on the Work Your Inner Wisdom podcast. So go to your podcast app and search for Work Your Inner Wisdom. And I'm doing episode 10. And I'm with my friend Lee Chaix McDonough, who is an author and a very talented business coach for spiritual entrepreneurs. And in the interview, I talk about tarot, I talk about how to apply it to business, how to make it a business, how to be successful at it. And I also talk about my own tarot philosophy and my journey to coming to tarot and a really transformative trip that happened to me when I went to Delphi, Greece. So I hope you check that out. I think you'll really find it fascinating. So again, that's Work Your Inner Wisdom. And you can also see an internet link to that in my bio on Instagram. So I hope you enjoyed the reading, and I will see you all next week. Thanks so much, and take care.